I'm hearing the 9th Dimensional Lemurian Ascension Collective, who is pleased to step in today and granting many that have been ones who have been disconnected from their earth home to remember the essence of their self as we connect with your energies and raise the vibration around this intercommunication. We are also ones who are very invested in your planetary being becoming a renewed source of energy, as her energy as connected to the universe is very important, and we want to discuss that today. As you have been undergoing many transitions through your collective being, we are in assistance in this time because there are many beyond our planetary space that are also contributing to the ascension program of the entire universe. The universe in itself holds a connection to all, and through that connection, we are also experiencing what is happening within your earthly experience. Not that we are living that experience, but we are here to lend our compassion. We are here to lend our understanding. We are here to allow you to recognize that we are in great support during this time, as there are many undertakings on your planet that have not been to your liking. We are here to remind you that energetic transmissions of this magnitude that have been assisting your planetary being over the course of the past year are quite difficult to integrate from where your energy body has stood. And in this transition, there is a part of your inner core that is being reworked. Your inner core as a human being has its connection both to the planetary essence and through the universal time grid. And we want to discuss that because often we are speaking of your creation and your creative energies and how you create your existence. Your existence here is created through your attention and through your awareness to frequency. In addition to that, my friends, you connect to Mother Gaia in a very intricate way. This connection to Mother Gaia has always been a part of your being. When you incarnated here through your light body, you agreed that there would be a physical aspect of your reality that you would embrace. And that physical aspect of reality is not an energetic component of frequency that is floating free throughout the universe. Every energetic component of energy has some type of a match or some type of a connection. And this is what we want to explain to you. You have a magnetism within your structure, within your system, and that magnetism holds a code. And that code is distinctly related to the code within Mother Gaia. It had to be. Because when you chose to arrive here, you knew that your structure needed to assimilate with a home. And that home was going to be the basis of your creative energy. Think of it this way. Other beings, other races interdimensionally also have homes that they connect with. Those who are energetic and those who are telepathic in nature are assembled as a one. And that one is representative of the planetary space or the planetary being. What this really means is that the planetary space or the planetary being has integrated or become one with its inhabitants. This is what we are leaning towards in this discussion with you. Your earthbound being in itself holds a connection to the energy grid of the universe. And through that energy grid, there's a transfer of information. And there is an availability of frequency and energy. You are boundless, you are timeless, you are a soul that is infinite. But your structure in itself had to modify frequency in such a way that you accepted this code as your own, this code of Mother Gaia, knowing that as you connected to her, you would also be connected to the universe. And through her, you could receive the information that you needed universally in order to walk your path, in order to fulfill your assignment, in order to fulfill yourself from the highest amounts of joy and love. Your earthbound home is a living, breathing being that is now also undergoing a transition within her own structure, within her own code. She is coded to dimensional reality in such a way that she is now raising this access. As she raises her access to information, your opportunity to receive that information is expanded as well. Many of you have been feeling the physical effects, we would say, of this connection. And we want to break it down for you very specifically so that you are to understand where these physical effects are the impetus for your transition into the non-physical and how you will begin to integrate her energy body with your own. Many of you in physical form are looking out upon this planetary being and seeing mass destruction, seeing the inevitable results of the consciousness and the rate of speed that you have vibrated here as a collective. Much of this is not pleasing, we would say, to the eye. It is not easily acceptable through your energy body and your heart chakra. And we understand that there is much here that you wish to change. Some of you may be looking at the concrete slabs that you call roads, or the buildings, or the electrical power lines, and thinking, how did we come this far? Aren't we blocking her frequency from our own connection? Just as a plant were to grow from the soil, if we were to place concrete on that soil, how would the plant break through? What we ask you to know in this moment is that anything that you see on your planetary space with the naked eye is a part of your evolution of consciousness here. As you have disconnected yourself from her being, you have created the very concrete barriers between your own feet and her. You like to make this quite physical, and you say that there are many on the planet who have made decisions to place the concrete on this soil, and there are many people who have been manipulated in their minds to place these power lines on our planet in order to receive financial gain. You're not looking at the bigger picture here, my friends. The reason that many of these structures exist is not due to the fact that someone whispered in the ear of another a plan that was meant to destroy. It is the result of the way you have connected to each other and her, and how you have held frequency here. In your disconnection from Mother Earth, in your disconnection from each other, you have manifested the very concrete upon this earth. You have manifested the very power lines that you see engaged in your everyday experience. So if they have been formed in the name of energy, if they have been formed in the name of vibration, if they have been formed in the name of consciousness, and you are standing looking upon these things and feeling as if it is hopeless, as if it is difficult to reverse what has been done, you are not remembering the very basis by which it was created and by which it can be reformed. That is energetically, my friends. Everything must start with consciousness and with frequency. And this is much of what we see happening right now within your structure that is resistant to the very changes that are opening it to its healing. Your awareness is something we keep going back to. When you are placing your awareness on the planetary space and you are seeing mass destruction, and you are putting the mental body to work, and the mental body is telling you that it would be quite difficult to reverse this, it is because the mental body is using its third dimensional existence to place a framework of plan within your mind. And that framework of the plan is physical in nature. Where you are going, the non-physical part of you is merged together and reconnected with your physical experience. It has always been the impetus for how you are meant to create. The non-physical knowing that your vibration holds the key to anything and any result that is shown in physical form, to any creation that is made in your physical reality. So would you need to break these roads with sledgehammers and carry the concrete off to the local dumpster in order to remove these roads from Mother Earth, in order to allow her more space to breathe, to rid the power lines from the grid that are holding you in a state of lower vibration? The only thing you must do is modify and work on your consciousness and raise your consciousness collectively to the level by which you are mirroring its likeness in your physical reality. It is not important to know in this moment in time the technologies that will appear, the ways that we will recreate, the ways that we will rebuild this planetary space. We say we because we all come together as universal beings in this recreation. As you are connected to Mother Earth and connected to the universal time grid, we are all working together to assist in this effort. How could we assist in this effort if it were physical? If it were physical, we could not. You are the physical beings that have the physical experience. But the basis for that, my friends, has always been your frequency. So we are here to tell you that once this transition is walked, and the transition in itself is evolutionary, that we will say that this current time frame of the next 2 years is walked, you will begin to see that it wasn't necessary to come up with the plans in physical form. It wasn't necessary to break the concrete, to abolish the power lines, to modify your financial system. You will see that the consciousness supports the regrowth and the rebuild that you wish to embody. You will see the consciousness creates the new aspects of your reality that you wish to experience. Many of you wonder, why have the technologies that have come to surface here not been able to assist us? We blame the ego, we blame the financial structure, we blame the government. All of these, in essence, are vibrational. They are manifestations that we have created. So where do we place the blame? Well, in placing the blame itself, we are only holding ourselves back from this reconnection of the one, from this higher consciousness we wish to embody. As many of you have remembered your off-planet homes, those homes have also been integrated through your energy field, through space and time. Many of you can remember, if you are to put the energy body to work, a time in which you were light, a time in which you were created as a one and with the one, a time in which you embodied a planetary space that was a part of your being. This is where you are headed, my friends. Mother Earth is undergoing a very important transition in this time. Her structure in itself is taking on a new light and a new access portal. It's an expanded amount of information. That information flows through her and it flows through you. if you do not cut off the very lifeline that has been given to you to her being. And let us discuss this for a moment. Just as the beaver creates the dam in the stream that blocks the water from flowing, many of you, with your awareness and your attention, are blocking the very lifeblood and the very energetic connection to Mother Gaia. You have forgotten that she is a part of you and you are a part of her. As you begin to honor her again, as you begin to step into this new reality that she exists with you in conjunction to this connection to the universe, you will remember that your creative energy is connected to her own. It has not worked this way for you because you have remained so singular in your experience in this third dimensionally based energy. That third dimensionally based energy is now beginning to change. Those of you who have been accepting of the recent planetary alignments, who have been accepting of your own ascension, who have been walking through this transition of energy, are beginning to notice a distinct change within your vibration. Many of you are accessing these outer spiritual realms. Many of you are beginning to feel the physical effects of the body traveling outside of physical form. The physical body in itself is beginning to change down to the cellular level. You are a force of magnetism in the universe, and that force of magnetism has often been explained to you as a mirror. And in that mirror, you receive the likeness of your own vibration. Well, my friends, that mirror in itself is also beginning to expand. This is the beautiful part of how you will manifest the new. And your physical structure is being prepared for that in this very moment. Your physical structure as a mirror to your experience now becomes a part of universal energy. As you are healing that heart chakra connection, this has been what you've been working on in the past several months. The heart center becomes the impetus for your reconnection as a one human consciousness. But you are connected through her, and her physical structure is changing too. As her physical structure changes, she is doing the same, and her mirror grows as well. Her mirror now becomes connected to universal energies in such a way that the manifestation here, the magnitude of the magnetics that you hold, is going to be equated to a new level. And in that mix, in that recipe of your structure, holds your individual code, her code, and all of the universal energies. You've always had it within you. It's always been a part of your DNA. It's always been a part of your structure. You've just not had access to it, my friends. You're awakening the access to the libraries of information that you can use to manifest and create here as a one. This is difficult for many of you to understand, and we started the message talking about the physical body and the difficult time you've had with this integration. The physical structure we want to hone in on for a moment because we have alluded to the fact that your cellular structure is changing as well. Your cellular structure is the basis for your connection to Source. You began as a source particle. You began as Source God. You are able to remember that Source God connection is within every bit of your physical being and makes up the non-physical part of who you are. But as you have forgotten your connection to Mother Gaia, and as she is now raising her frequency, you can no longer forget that connection. You must reintegrate with her in such a way that a balance is achieved. It is a new balance here. And it is magnetic and solar enabled. The solar energies that have been attracted to your planet in this time over various alignments are very important to your cellular structure. Your cellular structure is, in simple terms, fed information through this solar energy. The planet Earth's sun, in essence, is a library of vibration. It is a library of source energy as well. You remember that source energy, and it enables you to re-illuminate parts of the self that gives you access to this remembrance. But many of you are feeling the physical effects, and many of you are diverting your attention through your physical experience because of what is happening here through this integration and through this transition. We want to discuss both parts of the journey, the physical part of the body that is being affected, as well as the attention that is being taken, because they are both important. Your physical bodies, in essence, are going to be holding a brand new geometric pattern. That geometric pattern had to change because, in essence, it is the evolution of your race. It is how you hold that new dimensional consciousness and integrate it. And it is telling of how you connect to universal frequency. But those of you who have not prepared yourself for this modification of frequency, this new geometric pattern, each in individual way, by walking your soul's evolution, by walking your karmic journeys from a higher vibrational existence, will feel more of the physical effects of this frequency modification. The reason for that goes into the discussion of attention. It is because you are still placing your attention in some way, shape, or form on imprinted energy that you've defined yourself through in the third dimension. That third dimensionally based energy is calling your attention to it in such a way that you are blocking your own ascension. You are the equivalent of the beaver that is using sticks, mud, and weed to create the dam that is stopping the river from flowing. That river is connected through Mother Gaia. So as you walk this transition, we ask that you pay close attention to how you are releasing parts of the self that are holding you physically hostage to the third dimension. There is going to be some change within the physical structure that can cause discomfort in this time. That discomfort, though, we want you to know, is merely an energetic disbalance or disharmony within your energy field that can easily be overcome with your own energetic balance, meaning in your unique form, if you are to connect with higher vibrations of sound, if you are to bring in higher vibrations of nature, these are all things that can bring that balance into your system so that you are walking this transition from a higher vibrational place. If you are placing your attention on the physical body in such a way that it is harmful to you, that it is feeling painful to you, that it is something that you must work at in the mental body, that is where that dam is being built. That is where that resistance is being held from you opening yourself to this new stream that wants to flood through your cellular structure and give you the information that you need to enlighten yourself to a higher being. It's already there. All we are asking now is that you are not blocking it through physical form. The other route we would say that many are taking in this time that holds resistance is similar to the analogy we brought forward about the concrete and the power lines. There are manifestations on Mother Gaia in this time, manifestations of consciousness, manifestations of density that is being purged through her ascension codes being triggered. And if you are keeping your awareness in very physical ways in that density, you are becoming a part of it. And through that connection to density, you are further creating your experience into that dimensional reality, which is the third. Many say this would be quite difficult for me to release my attention from, because it is so painful to me. It is so significant. It is so fearful for my children and for others, for family members, for friends. Fear is the basis of lower vibration. So if you are to attach your frequency or your emotions to fear in this time, you again are building the dam that is the resistant energies that hold you from this beautiful stream of love and light. As you walk into the fall, as you walk into the spring timeline, there are 3 aspects that we want to make you aware of that are coming in your spring, summer, and fall. These are very critical alignments, although they will taper in their intensity. In the spring alignment, many of you who have been aware of how these alignments have been working will appreciate the fact that there is going to be an integration of your structure with hers. And this has always been the goal. This has always been the plan, to reconnect you with your earth home. And that reconnection will be in such a way that there is an alignment triggering your ascension code that is tied into her own. And you will have a unique and distinct opportunity to use the frequencies that she has received in the latest alignment to benefit your own ascension. As a human consciousness, we are anticipating a raise in frequency that will outweigh any you have seen thus far. This will be a leveling, we would call it, a leveling out of consciousness on your planet, where many have been at varying rates of speed or varying rates of frequency. There will be a dramatic raise to such a degree that many of you who have been working on the self and spiritual form are now going to be equal to many who are just awakening in this very moment in the way that you hold and measure frequency. Because there is no choice, my friends, as a connection now that is integrated and grounded to Mother Earth Gaia, that you will receive. Regardless of your acceptance, you will receive. Many will begin to awaken to their own soul. Many will begin to also integrate the higher self in ways that some of you have been working on for many years, in single moments. Now, in saying this, we want you to understand that there will be some disharmony or disbalance with many of these human beings who have not been prepared for this raise in consciousness. It will be quite confusing for them, we would say, to all of a sudden understand that their non-physical part is the basis for every creation they have ever made. And they will be in need of much support, not only from universal beings, but from your own consciousness. Many of you we would call light beings, who are working within our energies and conducting assignments in relationship with our homes, are here to hold hands during this transition, to help many on the planet to comfortably be able to integrate their own soul. As this happens, we would say the summer alignment is a modification of that. In effect, what it is doing is it is grounding many of you through the lower chakras again into your earth home. When we talk about grounding through the lower chakras, we want you to realize that this is always a very physical time of awareness. Because when you are grounding into the earth, your physical nature comes into the spotlight of your existence. And this will happen again in the summer months when we are working specifically through planetary alignments on grounding ourselves again. The reason for this is through the most recent planetary alignments, the upper chakras have been engaged in such a way that the spiritual essence has been the focus. The non-physical parts of our being have been the focus. And we must reiterate the importance of manifestation as it's connected to Earth. So through the summer months, there will be many physical things upon your planetary space that you will notice, some not to your liking, others that will be advancements in consciousness that will come to light. There will be announcements in these months, some from your governments, some from other forms of life that will allow you to remember the deep connection that the Earth home has with the universe, the understanding of visitation of pyramidal structures, of even symbology found in ancient tombs and within crop circles on your planet will be uncovered. It will be the connection of the information that you have received energetically with your Earth's history and integrating that history in physical form. This is a transition that begins in this time that goes on for several years. The fall alignment, again, comes full circle, meaning, again, we are working on the physical structure as singular beings. And your physical structure will again be ready to purge density. This is more fourth dimensionally based density because as many of you have walked the transition where you have released the third dimensionally based programs, the fourth dimension held for us much resistance. Yes, the fourth dimensional space was quite imbalanced. It was a time in which we were having a difficult visioning of where we were headed in this time with our spiritual realizations and our material world. As you go into those new fall months with that purging of density, you will begin to see how lighter you will feel. You will begin to see the clearing on the planetary space. And you'll begin to see how we will begin to rebuild some of these aspects of her reality we have been speaking of. We want to leave you with one final message, and then we are pleased to take questions. Manifestation as you know it, as we have alluded to earlier, is about to change here. Manifestation in its physical form was defined for you through the third dimension. You knew that your frequency had a magnetic match, and that magnetic match could be manipulated by your energy field and how you held vibration. Some of you did not realize this and created things that were not to your liking. As we go into this fifth dimensional consciousness with a new structure, a new Earth, and a reformed connection not only between one another, but between her and the universe, we must now consider that manifestation becomes a platform for our collective experience, and that we are always manifesting for the highest good collectively and not as a singular being. So many of the ways in which you receive the physical abundance of manifestation will also change here. But as it changes, you must understand and know that it is where we begin to manifest as a one collective, the peace and harmony here upon Mother Earth Gaia that has been desired for so long. Because that collectively based manifestation is the impetus by which we use our consciousness and our vibration to heal. And that is where you are headed in this new Earth.
We have some questions from the audience.
Yes.
How can I start acting as a light worker even though I don't have any specific ability?
I get Jeremiah stepping in for this question, who's very pleased. And he wants many to know that there are a variety of bands of light workers who have agreed to step onto the planet in this time. But as there have been bands of light workers, they are all assembling as one. This timeline that you are on, where the fifth dimensional consciousness is beginning to emerge, is a very important one, not only for your planet, but for many others. As you have come here with an assignment, that assignment was given to you collectively, meaning you knew before you came here in physical form and incarnated as a human being that you had within your structure a collective assignment to serve. That assignment could be as easy as experiencing joy, manifesting light, showing love, and living from the highest frequency of that love. That is, in essence, why all of you came. And if all of you were to serve that assignment, imagine what your planetary being would look like today. But we know that as Lightworkers, you yearned to connect to that assignment in individual and unique ways because you wanted to come here to express energy uniquely and individually. You came here to have a very physical experience. So through your assignment, you have the ability to connect to energies in such a way that you can manifest it to your liking. But those of you who have not connected to that assignment are at varying degrees of this realization. Let us start with those who have no inkling whatsoever, meaning there has not been any indication of who they are in this world. We want to start with the reasons why that has taken place. Your energy body, your soul, has been manipulated by a lower vibrational consciousness here on the planet. That lower vibrational consciousness, in essence, is creating through your energy in such a way that you have held yourself in resistance to knowing who you are. The soul in itself is multidimensional, meaning it has the ability to express itself on many timelines multidimensionally at the same moment. Within any moment, you have the ability through your energy body to connect to your assignment in such a way that you can create it to your liking. The energies of the planet in this moment are supporting your connection to your soul. However, there are so many programs that you have accepted into your frequency that are holding you back. And the first step, if you are a light worker that is wishing to access this in a more congruent way, would be to pay attention to and release any limiting programs that you have within your awareness that are taking you away from the truest aspect of yourself. Many of you may say this sounds quite difficult. How would I chip away at all of these programs and identify them? We have a very simple recipe for you. Raising your frequency through joy is the basis by which any spiritual being can access their truth. Think back to when you were a child. That childlike essence of your soul knew pure joy. It knew that in any moment there was freedom to attain joy. It knew that it could access the truest parts of the self for its enjoyment, and that was its very purpose here. The joyful aspect of that newborn baby receiving all of its needs met through abundance, through magnetism, through frequency. That child running through the field with the kite in hand, the pure joy and the essence of the freedom of that child. That is who you are. That has been stolen from you. What you have accepted here is a definition of who you are based on this lower vibrational consciousness. You have been told that you had to adapt to schooling, and that schooling told you that you had to adapt yourself to a career. And that career told you that you had to show up in a certain way within it to earn abundance. And your government told you that you had to use that abundance in order to fulfill your purpose here. There is no purpose within your soul that is directly related to any creation on this planet that is a program or a structure outside of the self. Going back to the basics of your soul's joyfulness in small ways will raise your frequency to a level by which you attract magnetically the information that is who you are. That is what it's about, my friends. For those light workers who came to serve, you have to serve through joy. Your collective assignment would not have been given to you if it were not joyful, loving, and fulfilling. You were not brought here to serve from a place of slavery. You were not brought here to serve through suffering. So taking moments of your day to access joy in any form, whether it be running through that field with the kite, reading a book that has brought your soul to joy, spending time with a child or another. These seem meaningless because as a light worker, you know that there's more depth here to your soul. You know that there's a purpose, there's a plan, there's a record. But that record can be accessed so easily. It is your energy, it is your vibration that magnetizes your physical experience in line with your soul. But your soul has to be resonating at a frequency of joy. Your soul has to be allowed to express itself through joy. So our greatest recommendation for you would be to spend that time in your banks of reserve that you so carefully guard in the freedom of the soul. And in that experience, regardless of whether it seems important in your journey or not, holds the frequency by which you change your entire structure. And then you step into the light work that you were meant to do. We do want to take another avenue with this answer, and there are many light workers that we would say have received the pieces of the puzzle that are not yet coming together in a congruent way. They have opened themselves to many gifts of access, and they know they are ready to serve, but they do not have a concrete plan or a path that has been laid out for them. We want you to know that as we have discussed this planetary transition, there's somewhat of a holding pattern here that is going on. And we've alluded to the fact that light workers in themselves are transitioning their own physical structure. As such, many of you are taking your assignments from an individual focus to a collective focus, very similar to the way manifestation is beginning to change here. So those of you who are healers and have been showing up in very important ways on the planet, who have been doing healing, may have noticed that that pattern or that path has crumbled and fallen apart. And there are many pieces that are scattered that you want to grab onto and reassemble. We're asking that you have patience because we want you to know that as a light worker here, as all of you are, your assignments fall in line with planetary energies, and they fall in line with the human consciousness and where the human consciousness is ready to receive. And as you are modifying your assignment from an individual to a collective focus, you have to consider that when the human consciousness is ready to receive, those puzzle pieces will begin to come together. And that many of you are walking individual transitions at this very moment to purge density, to allow those pieces to come together in congruent fashion. Again, it is about your vibration. So as you have brought up multidimensional aspects of the self to heal, walk through that transition and allow that to take place from the highest light, from the highest connection of your soul. Allow this transitional time to be focused inward on the self. As light workers, we know this is a difficult message for you because you know that you came here to serve. You know that you came here to work with others. But often you forget that unless your structure is harmonized and in line with joy, you cannot begin to serve the collective. We will say there is about a 6 to 8 month timeline that will be walked by many light workers on this planet, by which they will be assembling those puzzle pieces in a congruent fashion. But it is only through their attention to their own ascension will that begin to take place. And it will take place because the human consciousness is waiting and ready.
Are all or just some of the children born today born without the veil?
We would say yes. As the children are entering the planet, there is a new consciousness that you are forming here through them. And there are a variety of reasons that we would say this is happening. There is a part of your structure that holds a lineage, a history. And that history is a part of your energy and your consciousness. It is held at the cellular level. Think of it this way. When you were born on this planetary space, what was your history that was received into the energy body as your likeness? Many wars were fought here. There were many times in which the human consciousness struggled. All of that became a part of who you are. The children entering the planet now have a variety of ways in which their structure is different from your own and holds a new history and a new library of information. The consciousness here has changed. From the time in which you were born until this very moment, there has been a raise in consciousness in exponential numbers, in exponential weight. And that raise of consciousness is a part of the history here. That is a part of the structure of any child that enters this new planetary space. In addition to that, you must know that the frequencies of the planet have also raised in such a way that the connections forged between these children are quite strong. The connection that you have lost in your time here as a physical being has been lost because you have been programmed to lose it. You have been accepted into an energy or an energetic existence that has disconnected you from her. Children that are born on this planet hold that connection in very strong point. It is not interrupted. It is not taken away until it is programmed out of them as well. So now, as Mother Earth has raised her frequencies, and there is an undisturbed connection between these children and her, and they are receiving within their cellular structure the new consciousness, the history that has taken place here. They are receiving and connecting to higher energies. They are clearly placing their awareness in the non-physical. They have undisturbed remembrance of their telepathic existence, and they are able to recall their multidimensional part of the soul as it has traveled through space and time. Not as if many of them must remember it in exact detail, but they are able to use it. They have access to it. So it assists them in their experience here. You have categorized many of these children as crystal children and a variety of different terms. We say the difference between these children is only the amount of energy that they have received from the planetary existence, as well as the history that they have received from the consciousness and how it has modified its existence here. There are great connections that are formed between you and outer planetary races. Those connections hold strong with these children. They come in undisturbed from their reconnection to their planetary base, their planetary home, multitudes of homes. They bring that information into their structure in such a way that it is not taken away from them. There is a protection around their auric field. Think of it as a higher consciousness, and as your consciousness raises here on the planetary space, you also hold within your auric field a higher protection. What is that protection from? It is from lower consciousness, of course. We have talked about that quite often. But Also, it is not allowing a lower consciousness to disturb your access to information. So those libraries, the DNA that we have spoken of, it remains undisturbed. It remains available and open to them. These children are the ones that are also light beings that are coming for the new wave of ascension. This comes after the time in which much of this planetary alignment activity we have spoken of is walking or is undertaken. They come in for the new technologies. They come in with the symbology and the reconnection of the history of the universe with your own. The timeline in the summer where we say many of you will reintegrate your history and much of what has been hidden here will come to light. They're here to walk into that energy where it is already exposed. It's already here for them to use and tap into. And they will use it to their benefit and your own in the rebirth of this planet.
Does ascension mean we're moving beyond the thought process, and will we be having experiences directly through emotion or another higher aspect of consciousness? Will mental thinking as we know it today become obsolete?
I'll get the Council of Light for this answer, and they are very pleased to step in today, and they are also raising the frequency of this interaction through their connection. We would like to first talk about the thought process and the mental body, as many of you may know it. The thought process, first and foremost, is given to you through your structure, through your history, as you have evolved here as a species. Many of you think of yourselves as human, as not related to outer beings and outer races of dimension. And we first want to clarify that your structure, including the mental body, including the thought process, the brain, the anatomy, all of it has been a part of the evolutionary process of the universe. And there have been many beings that have created through this energetic space you call Mother Earth that have resulted in your structure as you know it today. Let us start with the brain, and this is the impetus or the basis for the thought process as you know it. The brain in itself is an organism that has evolved over time and space through many dimensional races. And the human consciousness was given this brain through the connection of many races and bringing in the highest aspects of how those races modified their existence and their structure. Meaning your brain has the capacity of dimensional beings off planet that are highly ascended. It is a very intricate structure that was given to you. It is not singular in nature. It is electromagnetically wired throughout the universal consciousness. So when many of you think of your brain as being singular within the structure of the skull, we wish to disregard that belief and give you a new one to accept. And that is that the brain electromagnetically connects to consciousness outside of the self and beyond. Your thought process that you believe is your own and you are creating internally from your own desire is in fact partly developed through the human consciousness and beyond. The structures of the brain hold this connection through the heart. The heart and the brain work together within your structure in order to create thought process. When you speak of thought process, what we hear is creative energy. Because thought process is often what manifests in physical form. Thought process is the frequency by which you magnetize the material that you call your existence. This thought process and the brain as a tool, in essence, holds many parts of this dimensional reality. And we want to focus on one part that has been taken offline through programming in your existence. And that is the reptilian portion of the brain, as many might call it. Now, As we go into this discussion, we want you to be aware that we do not wish anyone to be in a state of fear, especially over the word reptilian beings. There are reptilian beings that exist within our dimensional reality and within our consciousness. There are reptilian beings that are hybrid beings that are working for the good of the universe and the entire planet. But there is also a reptilian part of a lower vibrational consciousness that exists within your planetary space. The reptilian part of the brain was given to you in order for you to prefer, in order for you to compare, in order for you to modify frequency through manifestation. This is a part of your structure that calls attention to parts of your world that you do not agree with or you do not wish to receive. You had to, in order to modify your frequency or manifest, as we might call it, you had to have a part of your structure that enabled you to work through the thought process in this way. This part of the structure, this part of the brain, is the part we would say has been manipulated by programming, by this lower vibrational consciousness. So the thought process as defined by you, we would say often falls in line with the third dimensionally based aspect of your existence and how your structure holds this part of the brain. As you are walking this transition to higher consciousness and fifth dimension, the reptilian part of the brain is also going to modify and change. Your thought process, in essence, holds the basis for recreation of the planet. But it must work in unison with the heart chakra and with the connection of the one in order to be used for the highest good. The reptilian part of the brain was always a large benefit to you here. It was always to be used to your benefit. It is always to be used to your liking. But it is easily turned against you, and it is easily used in an egoic way for you to define yourself in lower vibrational terms through that very preference that you were to use for higher aspects of your existence. If you are preferring something and you are turning that mirror on yourself to define as not worthy or not as equal, you are using of the very part of your structure that was given to you for the benefit of receiving more, of experiencing more. So will the thought process go away? We would say no. But the thought process, as we see it as the mental body, will become integrated with the collective as it always was meant to be. As those electromagnetic parts of the brain fire and connect into the universe, your thought process is affected by the energy of others. As the consciousness raises here and that heart chakra benefits you from this one connection, the thought process now falls in line with the highest good. It drops the egoic essence of that reptilian portion of the brain. It lets go of the programming that held you in resistance to your own godlike power. And it now assists you in manifesting in physical form what you wish to experience here. The thought process was always necessary. The brain waves in themselves hold a higher degree of your non-physical part of being than what you can even imagine. You create history through your thoughts. You create experience through your thoughts. In the fifth dimension, as that becomes integrated with the self and with others, you are working congruently together in one thought process. In a thought process that is higher vibrational and accepts all as one. This is why we have said previously manifestation will also change, because you cannot have a thought process that is considering the highest good of all and manifest in singular form. Will you have a singular experience that's tied to your thought process? Of course you will. In the fifth dimension, you still have a singular timeline, a singular existence. It's just that it has a collective basis. And that collective basis is where the thought process serves you. You have not wanted to use your thought process in line with the consciousness here because it would not have been for the highest good. And on many levels, it has not been for the highest good. It has created things here on your planetary being that you have not wished to see, that you have not wished to experience. But as that thought process changes along with your structure, and you are coded to do this, you will begin to see the light of those intricate connections of the brain, the electromagnetics and how they work here together with the universal consciousness. So a simple conclusion to this answer would be to say, will the thought process change here? Yes, it will. It will go from a lower vibrational aspect of singular existence to a higher vibrational aspect of interconnectiveness of the one.
We'd like to speak with the ancients, please.
Greetings.
Could you tell us who you are and which beings make up your collective and how many are in this collective?
We are pleased. We are an energetic collective. We are known as the Ancients. We are of a Mayan culture, one that is part of your history here. We are energetic in form, so in numbers we would say there are many. Those many come in the form of the souls that are also existing on your planet today, meaning there are many master beings of light that connect with our consciousness, that are upholding the culture and the assignments that we also hold. And there are many from our culture who have taken on a new role of assignment in non-physical form, who have joined us. So we would say to think of ourselves as an informational consciousness that holds the connection of this culture, which is in direct alignment with your Mother Gaia being.
What's your purpose in coming through to us now?
Yes, it is very important that we are coming through now because of the revelation of the aspect of your soul. The soul that holds within it the Mother Gaia feminine as a part of the self. And that is what we are here to preserve. Your mother being, in essence, is the divine feminine aspect of your own soul. And as many of you have connected to her, you have forgotten the balance of that part of the self. We are here to uphold the integrity of this transition as you walk it through the remembrance of the access to the divine feminine. The divine feminine energy in itself can be seen in this culture that we are representative of, the ceremonial parts of our existence and how we bear fruit and labor and ceremonial giving to her through her graciousness of being, meaning her energies hold within them through the divine feminine an empathic remembrance of the connection of the one. The love frequency is a part of this energy, and her structure holds that love frequency within. Your connection to her in this time, as has been brought forward in many transmissions in this interaction, is not only important to reintegrate the one here, it is also important to balance the masculine and feminine parts of the consciousness. Because as a lower vibrational part of your existence has been held in the male-dominated energies, the female-dominated energies must make a reappearance here and must balance and harmonize the consciousness in order to remember your record, in order to revisit the timeline that you wish to be on, which is one of harmony and peace with your own soul. We come in this time to allow you to remember that you are a part of her and she is a part of you. And through that reconnection to the feminine, you will be balancing and harmonizing your own energies. And this will have a direct effect on your physical existence here. The physical existence that you have here is about to change in that direction of harmony. And we are in full support.
Other than what you've already said, do you have a general message for the world today?
Yes. We want to talk about frequency for a moment. There is a base frequency of Mother Gaia, which is equated in our culture as waveform, as sound. Sound vibration has been very important on your planet as you have evolved through time. Many do not remember that the vibration of sound is the basis for their own existence. And as she evolves through a recent transition, she is calling out to you to remember that the vibration of sound is the basis for your existence. We have held many ceremonial or tribal connections in our culture. And the very basis, the very platform for these tribal ceremonies have been to raise the frequency of sound to the vibration by which we connect as a one. We want you to know that is what is happening here on your planet. That the sound waves, the vibration forms that make up who you are beginning to change within her. And because of this, many on the planet are feeling the disconnection. There are many who are feeling the discomfort or the disharmony of Mother Gaia holding a higher and new frequency. And for many of you, that frequency has been very fluid and disconnected. As such, you have moved further away from her. Recent events on your planet that you do not wish to see, you do not wish to take part in. Many of you have been focused in the higher self, in the higher chakras, in the ceremonial parts of connecting with your spiritual realm, with your angels, with your guides, with your masters, with your teachers. And we are in much support of that. But we're here to remind you that if you move away from your grounding, your earthing, your connection to her, you are forgetting that your physical existence here is why you came. Your physical existence here is the basis for your highest expression. There are symbols and forms that we can relate to that would assist you in this time that we wish to bring into our remembrance. The vibration of sound, the harmony of sound, toning, drums, rattles, symbols, ancient symbols. These are all calling your name to bring your energy body down to earth, to honor her and remember her, and to bring her into the fire that burns within your soul. That fire must be a part of who you are. Those who are on a path of ascension often move into a higher dimension thinking that this higher dimension does not involve the earth, it does not involve what they wish to leave behind that they've experienced here. It is the integration of what you've experienced here along with that higher dimension that we are here to remind you of and that we are here to serve. So in this transition, as you are feeling the discord, as you are feeling the disconnection of her frequency changing to something that you have never felt before, we wish for you to grab towards her. Use the vibration of sound. Use the ancient ceremonies. Honor and love her. And remember to bring her into your daily experience. This will be how we will begin to integrate this divine feminine presence into our everyday experience and into the healing we wish to see. We wish to remind you, you are not moving into a fifth dimensional consciousness where the problems on Earth go away and we rise to a new planetary being. Your planetary being is a part of the transition, and she is here to walk along with you. And you are here to accept what you have done and how it will be changed. As we have been very grateful to bring this information through today, we leave you with one more piece of information. And that is that as her structure changes, there is a new sound wave, a new base frequency that is being formed, one that has never been experienced by your consciousness before. It is one that has been written about in ancient cultures, and it is one that will be to your highest benefit. We are all accepting of it as it comes forward.
We'd like to speak with Mary Magdalene, please. Mary, can you speak about the situation in Paris and how human beings should react to it? What's the best way for us to look at it, and how do we go forward from here?
We are very pleased. We know that many of you have been tragically affected by the aspects of your physical reality that are showing up for you that are not to your liking. This is consciousness or energy in its form of magnetism, in its form of magnetics, in its form of manifestation. Energetically here, there is a time that you are walking in which you are purging parts of yourself. In every experience that was taken on by the individuals in that tragedy, there is a part of you. Your experience lies in them, and they lie in you. We're not saying that you close your eyes to what has happened there. We're not saying that you push it out of your energy body. In fact, we ask that you breathe it in, that you accept it, that you feel it, that you experience it as a part of your own. It is not said that you need to suffer through that experience, although we know it is difficult to bring into the emotional body. It is a higher form of love to accept the emotions of anger and fear than it is to resist them. So as you bring those feelings or emotions of anger and fear in, and you accept them as your own, you also know that you are made of love and light. And if that experience is in you and you are in it, the love that you have within your soul can also heal the energies that have manifested here. So in the way that you take in that experience is the way that you send out the parts of yourself that are healing, that are loving, that are light, that are compassion. Breaking the cycle or breaking the chain of events is very important. But if you remember that everything on the planet is cyclical and everything on the planet attracts its own likeness, you will know that as you were a part of that experience, you can also be a part of its healing. There will be many more experiences on this planetary space as you undergo this transition. We're not saying that to alarm you. We're saying that to help you understand that the transition you are walking is the transition that others are as well. The wars that you have taken into your being through your physical experience and your singular experience are manifesting collectively. They're an opportunity to bring our being to a state of healing. That is why they are existing in your reality in this moment. It is for the healing. It is for the higher light. The souls that passed there are knowing that as you have experienced this with them, you are able to connect with their being now in such a way that you receive the higher light that they are a part of. They are still here. They're existing within your awareness, and they bring back to you everything that you need in order to move forward, in order to grow, and in order to heal here. The change in consciousness that you are ready to receive, that integration of the soul as the one, that is the basis for birthing this new reality of peace. It starts within you. You transmute it, and you are all healers in it, because it is a part of who you are. So turning your back to this tragedy is turning your back on your own soul. Keeping the love, the compassion, the understanding that you have for another within the self is holding back the healing, the compassion, and the love that you have for this tragedy. When you pass another on the street, and your compassion overflows, and you make eye contact, and you touch a hand, or you touch a heart, you're healing the very tragedy that you're holding yourself in resistance of. Healing does not have to be a direct physical experience, meaning we do not have to go to Paris, we do not have to bring supplies, we do not have to connect with those people. There are some who will, and those that do were meant to conduct those actions. But in your compassion for another, in your expression of that compassion and that love for another, very simply through your existence, your frequency overrides any tragedy that can take place here. And when your human consciousness begins to live this way in its daily existence, that is when we will begin to see change here. And it is already on its way. The higher vibration of love and light here expands on a daily basis. And we are very pleased to have brought forward this message.
Could you conclude the session, please?
Yes, for all of those who have been connected to this energy, we are very pleased. We know that the heart chakra that you engage on a daily basis is holding within it the love and light of the higher consciousness of the human race. And that higher consciousness not only includes you, but all of us as we walk together through peace. The universal light that you receive through your connection to Mother Earth is of great value. Remember and honor her as you go forward with your connection. Know that you are not only one with each other, but you are one with her, and you are one with all of it. That is where you are headed in this reintegration. Many blessings.